Hello everybody and welcome back to CFO Conversations. I'm your host Paula Kensington and I have great pleasure of welcoming today Sarah Alder. Welcome Sarah.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
A pleasure. Our conversation today is our journey to CFO and want to try and illuminate our journeys to the viewers so that they can get some inspiration from us. My breakthrough to CFO was when I first came to Australia in 2008. I was given a 6-week assignment at a company as a management accountant role, and during that 6-week assignment the wheels fell off the business. Literally the CEO, the CFO, the chairman, everyone just sort of got walked, and I was sitting there as almost the only person left, and they said, could you stay on and be financial controller? And then 12 months later I was given the opportunity to step up into a CFO role. So to me, when people talk about Australia being the lucky country, it absolutely gave me opportunities that I think would have perhaps been a bit slower to have achieved in the UK. Give us some insights on your story.
Yeah, I certainly think that was the case for myself, Paula, in that my first CFO role was in a business that was going through a growth phase. And similar to yourself, I broke through into that CFO role from the work that I'd done in a related company where I'd had the opportunity to work with some great people who I built great networks with. And then when I actually came to apply for this CFO role, even though it wasn't through those people, they knew that I was a trusted pair of hands. And whilst there were perhaps some gaps in my resume to date, there were certainly gaps that they felt confident that I could fill. And I think that is Australia. I think Australia have a very much an attitude of giving everybody a fair go. And so it's less about gaps, but it's about opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point that you picked up there about not waiting for perfection. And a lot of women especially, I know that I've spoken to, don't go for the next step, put themselves out there for a career growth because they don't feel ready. And both you and I have probably just decided that we are ready for that role and we will make sure that we can fill those gaps. So how can we help people think about not waiting for perfection?
We do have to change our mindset to a growth mindset. We've got to think about opportunity. You don't go into a job having 100% of the requirements. If you don't feel scared about taking on that role, then it's probably not the right role. You're probably overqualified. You should feel like you're going to be challenged.
Yeah.
And I think if you turn your mindset to that direction so you can challenge yourself, I think that's where we can start to give ourselves the confidence and to say, it's okay, I don't have all the skills, but that's okay, I'm going to learn these skills. As I always say, I'm going to jump in at the deep end and I'm going to learn how to swim.
Yeah, that's right. And an old CEO boss of mine once said, Paula, if you're going to eat an elephant, you want to take chunk by chunk and eat and chew really fast. And it's true, you need to jump in there with both feet. And it was an aha moment for me when I realised I didn't have to have all the answers. And I think that still comes as a surprise to people when they say, if I want to be a CFO, I need to be great at compliance, and I need to be great at tax, and I need to be good at HR or legal, all of these suite of skills. But show me a CFO that actually has all of that.
I think when you get to the level of being a CFO, big part of your skill set is about understanding what resources are needed and what skill sets are needed, and going out into the market and finding great people and getting great people in your team to help you deliver those outcomes. As you say, you don't have to be a technical expert in every discipline. You have to have an understanding and a sympathy for them, and you have to be able to surround yourself by great people, great teams, and you'll get there.
Yeah, that's right. And also I talk a lot about doing your own SWOT analysis. So think about yourself, think about your career as a business. So think about what your weaknesses are, where the opportunities to learn is. And these are skills that as a CFO or an aspiring CFO needs to think about. Think about where the skills gap is for you and go out and do some research, do some learning, close that skills gap where you can. Definitely.
I mean, that's something I was always quite conscious of in my early career, just broadening out my CV. Not always striving for perfection, as we've talked about, but looking for where you might have gaps. And if there's an opportunity that comes up at work, a new project, put your hand up for it. Don't be frightened. Don't overthink things too much. just be very open to opportunity and apply yourself, and then the rest does kind of start to fall into place.
Yeah, no, that's right. And lots of conversations already around curiosity and around prioritization. You know, all of these tips and tricks are all there for people to go and tune in and listen to. Thanks, Sarah. That's great.